With the final season of Top Boy drawing to a close, the story of Dris, Sully, and Summerhouse is now complete. Over the course of many years since 2011, there's been some great moments in this show, some emotional, some heartbreaking, and some which painted the reality of living the kind of lifestyle that Sully and Dris did. So with that, I thought I'd share what I believe the 5 most powerful moments in the entirety of the show are. So let's get into it. Here are the 5 most powerful moments in Top Boy. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Jamie's death. This is a moment that had to make it on here. It was something which was completely unexpected, and it came at the end of a season where things were left off in a way that looked as though it was concluding in a positive way. We were lured into a false sense of security with the scenes that we had before, with it all being themed around celebration. For example, Aaron with his graduation. The summerhouse development plans were no longer going ahead. Lauren was at her baby scan, Dris and Shelley were good together, and Dris was running the streets well. However, in the blink of an eye, it all changed. And a moment that none of us expected just happened out of the blue. Jamie was a character that it felt like was on the verge of becoming Top Boy, and it's clear to see why Sully wanted him dead, because Dris was taking a liking to him, but the unexpected nature of it was what made sure that it was a surprise. With Stefan screaming out his brother's name as the episode cut to black, it stopped with the abrupt theme and made sure that it painted not only the harsh reality of that kind of lifestyle, but it left you staring at a black screen, making you question if what you just saw when the season concluded was actually real, because only a few moments earlier, nobody would have seen it coming. Sully's death. Now this is a moment that I think many people may find controversial for being included in this list, because the moment itself is quite controversial. Although this was only a few seconds, for me it's what it actually stood for that makes it so powerful. The ambiguity of the ending and the fact that we were never shown who the killer was, to me, sums up the type of lifestyle that Sully chose to lead, and the risk that came with it. Over the years, Sully had made so many enemies that he himself probably wasn't even able to keep up with who would be after him, and that's what makes this so perfect. The fact that although Stefan spared him and he thought that he was safe, he wasn't, nor could he ever be, because there was always somebody that was after him. The fact that in the beginning of the season we heard Sully talking about a tiger that was lurking in the trees in the park as part of a story for his daughter, and then in the final episode with a deadly predator coming out and actually treating Sully like prey, it was a poetic way for the character to go out, and it definitely deserves to be on this list. Jason's death. Jason's death is a moment that's not only powerful because of the death of the character, but it's also powerful because it changed the direction of Sully from the moment that it occurred. We saw that Jason and Sully had a friendship that was formed when Jason robbed him years ago, and only once Sully saw the rough life that Jason was leading due to his parents not really caring about him, it was then that Sully decided to take him under his wing. We heard talks of going to an Arsenal game for the first time, which was Jason's dream, and then getting a place together, but it all turned sour the night before they were going to leave. The house that they were staying in was targeted and was burnt down. In this moment, we saw Sully escape, but with him calling out Jason's name, we saw that Jason was trapped inside the blaze, unable to smash the window and unable to jump out. Leaving Sully to feel helpless stood there, watching Jason slowly lose his battle with the flames. When Sully returned after attempting to go inside, we had a long, lingering shot of the window, which was something that I thought was so haunting, as it made us just think about how he was in there. And then a close-up shot of Sully's face, where we saw the flame being reflected in his eye, as all emotion then drained from his face. And the smile that was present only moments earlier when discussing about going to watch football with his friend was something which was now ancient history. Sully changed that day. And it's only one of 2 times that we've seen Sully in an emotional state like that. It's most definitely a powerful and an important moment. Dris's death. One of the most powerful moments in the entirety of the show is Dris's death. It's powerful for a number of different reasons. The first is because it came at the end of the slow demise of the character and him turning on his 2 former best friends. Dris was being pushed to the side and was being deemed unreliable. He was drastically different to what he was like in the Summerhouse series, and Dris knew it. With Jax being favoured over him, we saw that he turned on Dris and Sully, and revealed their location to Modi and Jermaine with the intention of his former brothers being killed. However, with them surviving and finding out that it was Dris that revealed where they'd be, we saw Sully have to kill Dris out of revenge. This was a moment that was quite heartbreaking to watch. Even though Dris did his boys wrong, deep down he only did it because he was hurt by the way that they were treating him. We saw Dris walk along the balcony with no shoes on, and Sully then proceeded to take him to the top of a building which overlooked Summerhouse. The encounter between the pair was brief, and we even saw Sully show Dris an ounce of respect by not killing him on his doorstep, as he didn't want Erin to find her father like that. There was a line that was quite alien to the situation, which was, "I didn't even know you wore glasses," something which Sully said to Dris. It took us out of the moment and showed that the most horrific thing was about to happen between two individuals that were once the best of friends. With Dris never revealing to Sully why he did it, we then proceeded to hear the loud bang, confirming that it was done. The emotion on Sully's face showed that it hurt him to have to do it, with us later finding out that apparently Dris was fired at 20 times. It showed that Sully was probably extremely upset over what happened and was lost in the moment. Considering the guilt that he felt after in the following season, it's no surprise. If we're not monsters, we're food. The most powerful moment in the entirety of Top Boy comes from the most recent season, and there's a few different reasons as to why. The first is because it contains Deshane's death scene, which has fast become one of the biggest memes on the internet right now. But the fact that Deshane's death came at the hands of Sully was something which was always poetic. When you go back to when Netflix first commissioned this show again, in an early episode, Sully was holding his weapon towards Deshane, and he said, "I'm no less than you." And in the end, that's what ultimately caused Deshane's death, because Sully always thought that Deshane thought less of him. Seeing the both of them finally have it out, and seeing the regret and upset on Sully's face that he fired at Deshane after realizing that he was dead, it was something which I thought was very sad to witness, and it made me wonder how after all of those years, how did the two characters end up in that situation? Another reason is because of the line, "If we're not monsters, we're food, and I could never be food." This showed that Sully was prepared to go to whatever ends, no matter what, in order to ensure that he stayed on top, and that even meant killing his best friend. He realized that he was a monster, and he was owning the fact that he was. The emotion that was in Sully's eyes, face, and voice when he delivered this section was just faultless, and it truly made this scene land with impact. This line and scene in particular showed that even when one is on top, there's never a way out where everybody ends up okay, and you have to do the most awful things and become the monster in order to survive. It was a dark and powerful moment for sure, deserving its spot at number 1. So, there you have it, the 5 most powerful moments in Top Boy. What is your most powerful moment? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.